Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Karma Cards. I am your host, Therese Tucker, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. And we're about to approach a new moon in Taurus. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the astrology happening this week. This week has a feeling of sort of a weight to it because there's an intensification of Saturn's energy, but specifically I want to look at the weekend where it seems like all the activity is happening. And it starts on Saturday with Mars that just moved into Leo, which is about our sort of personal desire and drive really moving to the forefront. And Mars has been in Cancer for so long that it's finally kind of picking up speed when it moves into Leo. I talked about this a little last week. So it's finally like a fire is lit and we want our will to be done. We want things to happen in our favor. On Saturday, that Mars in Leo is in opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pluto in Aquarius is about transformative change on the collective level. So you can kind of hear that it's sort of the individual opposing the collective. So wanting to go your way and feeling like there's this collective energy pushing against that. And so it creates sort of a feeling of clash. And it can feel like something is working against you. Something bigger than you can be working against you, whether it's in your mind or you feel like it's literally happening to you. That's the energy that sort of this combination can incite. And so really it's calling us to, when you feel that, when you feel a larger force at work on you, and I think all of us recognize that feeling from time to time. Sometimes it feels like, right, we're pushing that boulder up the hill and that gravity is pushing down against us. So whether it's something you are working towards in your career or in your health or in your relationships or your relationship to yourself, sometimes it feels like there's something pushing back on you, and that energy intensifies this weekend. And right after it, we sort of have a release, sort of a breakthrough, if you will, because we have a new moon in Taurus coming in. I get that some of this energy has a financial feeling to it, only because when you have the moon in Taurus, that's one of the signs that activates financial energy because it's ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So our finances definitely come up. And if you feel like that looming energy, like money or financial institutions, or just the oppressive energy of collective financial drama that lives in this sphere with us, it might feel like it's sort of coming to a head. And what this energy can do is it can get you to get creative about how you can break through that energy. Now, sometimes it can also trigger, on the darker side, it can trigger a need to fight back, right? Like feeling like, so Mars and Pluto both are known to be fighters. Mars representing god of war, Pluto representing god of underworld, right? These two like to fight already, and the combination of great fighter against great fighter can turn into a dirty fight. So that's the negative side of it. But if we can breathe through it and recognize when our ego gets triggered or activated, we can actually rise above it and use the intensity of the energy to spark creative ideas. It can move us into creativity. And the beautiful thing is, yes, you've got this quelling energy on Saturday of these two forces in opposition that can create a lot of tension. And I'm really looking at our personal world. We're probably going to see something in the external world, but let's look at it at the level that we can actually affect, which is the personal world. So you might feel that, like, I'm so tired of this rock. Now I want to pulverize the rock. I get angry about, again, that boulder that we're pushing up the hill, or the thing that feels like it's pushing against us. And we're ready to just want to find a intense way to eliminate the obstacle. Knowing that intensity and hostility and outrage are not, if not channeled properly, are destructive and not productive. So if we remember that and we appeal to it, we actually get this beautiful opportunity to channel all of that high energy, because that's all it is. It's high energy. We channel that high energy into the creative outlet, right? We use creativity, we use fun, we gamify it, right? We take something that feels difficult, we break it down into smaller pieces, we gamify it, and we figure out the workaround. And that's what this sort of weekend represents. It's sort of the quelling or the largeness of the obstacle in our way, and then the opportunity to take the creative workaround. And so with the new moon in Taurus, it's a beautiful time to clear your energy with money, whatever that is. If you have great energy with money, then it's about maintenance, just maintaining that. If you feel like your energy with money is murky or heavy or distorted, if there's a lack of trust for the money for you, or if you are stuck in lack, it's a good time to spring clean that energy out. And that's one of the things that we will be doing at the New Moon Spirit Circle, which will also be on Sunday, April 27th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if that's something you would like help doing, and bringing your presence to the situation so that you're utilizing creative outlets rather than letting frustration or outrage or despair or any heavy emotion take you down, you figure out the workaround instead. If you want help doing that, please consider joining the Spirit Circle. It is live. We get to hang out together. We do some work around opening up the energy. And of course, there's channeling and psychic Q&A. And you get to keep the recording. And if that's something that sounds exciting to you, here is the link. It's also in the description below, and I'd love to see you there. So as you can see, we're sort of working up to this. It's like all week long, we're sort of pushing this heavy boulder and feeling the weight of it. It feels, when Saturn's active, you feel the weight of your responsibility really kicking in. And it's what I love Elizabeth Gilbert referred to in her book, Big Magic, the shit sandwich, is really potent this week. And the shit sandwich simply applies to whatever it is that you are doing in your life that's something you love, whether it's being a parent or working on a business or working out. There's always a crappy part to it. Every good thing has a heavier component to it, right? If we're raising children, for example, there's so many beautiful, joyful, happy parts. And then there's the heavy parts, like the lack of sleep and dealing with, sickness and dealing with pushback and all of these like different little problems that come with such a gift. Every gift has that sort of counterbalance of like, here's the heavy part. This week, it feels like the heavy part is heavy. And then we get to Saturday and we're like, I can't take this heavy part anymore. I feel like the antidote to that is to remember everything that you would choose to do, everything that you want to engage in, it has a heavy part. It's just, if you want it enough, you're willing to hold it. You're willing to push that boulder because this boulder is better than one you don't want, right? So it's the counterbalance in our mind. What I'm getting from the team this week in their message, they're like, ooh, the weight of this boulder is going to feel like it's crushing you at some point, maybe. But hopefully if I've given you this message early enough and you hear it, it can help you. You have like a sort of like it's like me giving you a couple of tablets of aspirin before you really feel your headache. That's my intention here, so that we have that awareness. So we're like, okay, if heaviness is going to be felt, but I'm aware of that, and I recognize that all good things come with heaviness. All the things I want are coupled with responsibility. That is the double-edged sword of getting what you want. Is one, you get what you want, yay! And here's the responsibility that comes with it. It's like, we're always focused on that exciting, happy part, right? Like say you're running a business and you're so excited you get to run a business, but now there's the running the business. Here's the day-to-day reality of what that looks like. And those responsibilities, sometimes we uncouple them from the gift that they came with, and they're always attached. And so part of the strategy during this week is just to recognize everything good comes with this responsibility attached. It's actually part of having it, right? Like you get to own your own home. Awesome. It comes with property tax. Wah, wah. It comes with a mortgage, maybe, right? It's like, oh, the heavy part. When we remind ourselves that this heavy thing is attached to something I called for and I want, then suddenly we can lighten the load a little bit. It won't fully go away. Sometimes it's just heavy. Even if you do remember it's attached to something good, there are just times where we're like, I feel the weight. But I think we can lessen the frustration we feel about it. We certainly can reduce and almost relieve the resentment we feel for the responsibility. And resentment really comes in when we've decoupled responsibility from the gift it came with, right? So it's like having a family pet, right? It's like you get this amazing fur friend who is just a joy to be around, but it's like they're gonna vomit on things, or they're gonna eat stuff they shouldn't, and they're gonna poop all the poop you have to clean up, right? Represents the responsibility. If we forget that we wanted this thing, then suddenly we resent all the cleanup work we have to do. And so this week it's just reminding yourself that they come together, and it's how we are looking at our responsibilities that makes a world of difference. They feel much heavier when we detach them from the gifts that they come with. They feel much heavier when we feel like this is an imposition on us rather than an honor to do it. And so we're being asked, that's the workaround. You want to make that boulder feel lighter, you're still going to have a boulder. It still feels like you're pushing it up a hill. But now it's like, it's my honor that I get to push this boulder that represents what I love up this hill. And now it's like you've reinvigorated yourself. You've given yourself endurance and energy where the other thoughts drain you. And this is the gift at this time, is how you think about an immovable force, a force you cannot have the house without the property tax. I wish you could. But in reality, and this week is very much about the reality of life, not the I wish it was a different way. It's no, this is the way it is. Until it changes, it looks like blank, right? When we're in that place of accepting the reality of what comes with the gift we asked for, we will reinvigorate, we will find the endurance to continue to push that boulder up the hill and actually be honored to get to do it, because there's other boulders you could push, a boulder you don't want, something that represents something that you wish you didn't have to do, right? There's the coupling of responsibility with that as well. And so when you look at your life and what you've asked for, first acknowledge that the universe is listening and you're receiving. Because if you ask for something and it's here, have that gratitude and appreciation that your wishes and desires are being heard and they're being responded to. With it will come the boulder. And it's rather finding the appreciation and the honor that you get to push this one instead of one you would not like. And with that, let's look at the message from the karma cards. My friends, if you are new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I've got 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message for this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel, what is the guidance you most need this week? Are you looking for action related guidance or outcome related guidance? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for April 22nd through April 29th. And a flavor of this reading, ruh-roh, we've got Pluto. So Pluto decided to show up into this card spread. It's so funny because when I shuffle these cards, I wait till they pop out, and this one popped out, and I was really hoping it would be a fun one. Pluto serves a purpose, and the purpose of Pluto is to get down to the heart of something. So let's look at what it's asking us to look at. yeah, get down to the heart. Let's be real. Pluto's like, listen, let's be real about something. And the reality is, this thing comes with a price tag, right? Getting what you want comes with a price tag sometimes, as an example. Now it's sitting in the sign of Sagittarius in this reading, and Sagittarius is the uplifter. It's the expander. It brings optimism and joy. So it's saying, look at this from the positive side, because looking at it from the negative is the default here. When these heavy planets start playing, our minds go right to, I freaking hate this, right? We're looking at, this bugs me. Traffic. People. Life, right? We go into that place quite easily. Pluto's like, sit down. Let's look at this. What's the positives? And then the area of life is the fifth house, which is about the things that bring you joy. And it's so funny how we can disassociate those things that bring us joy. Hi, Skippy is right here. Speaking of something that brings me joy, the things that bring us joy also come with this real world price, right? And that's responsibility. And so Pluto's like, but isn't it good? Be honest with yourself. Would you give it up? If I said to you, that thing you love that's giving you grief right now because it's making you work so hard for it, do you want me to just take it away? You'd probably go, no. Like, no, I can do it. And you would reset yourself to handle it. So that's interesting that it shows up here. So let's see what the cards have to say. All right, spiritual action at this time. Resurrect your highest ideals with the trust of a child. Go all in on what you love. That's what I hear. Remember, resurrect. I'm going all in. My highest ideals. I'm going all in. With the trust of a child is all in. Children, when they give their trust, they give you 100% trust. On your dreams, your highest ideals, the things that you want, go all in on this. Yes, if you're getting a taste of what you want, you're also getting the real world price tag, the responsibility that comes with it. That was never meant to deter you. That's just the physical plane counterbalance point to having this, because things in the physical plane, things that are associated with matter especially, they have this like energy price tag, because everything that's easy is frequency, because everything's frequency. The majority of your energy is frequency. And the part that's associated with matter, well, that part has to be taken care of. Matter breaks down. So we have to be the stewards of matter. We have to be the guardians of matter. Matter breaks down. If you don't take care of your body breaks down. If you don't take care of your car breaks down. If you don't take care of your home, you hear what I'm saying. There's a real world price tag on these things. But remember to go all in on what you're choosing, because no matter what you're given, there's a real world price tag. So let us choose that which we desire versus that which we don't. All right, mental action at this time. Get to the heart of the rules of fun, romance, and making art. We just talked about it, so I'll keep this brief. The fifth house represents the fun house. It represents everything you love and everything you desire to create, right? So the rules of it are that the physical world, anything that you desire to create, anything you're calling in, it has a real world price. Just accept that. If we can accept that, moving forward to the next step, easy peasy. Right? Physical action at this time, do or die. You must get it out into the world and do it dramatically. What I hear here is the transference of the thoughts, right? So as we were talking about before, it's how you're looking at it will affect how it feels for you, what the experience will bring back to you. It's really how I look at it will determine how I experience it. And so they're like, look, why do you want to spend a minute more thinking about the drudgery of this or how you resent it? Rather focus on what a gift it is to have this, how this is what you would choose. If someone said, I'll take it away and give you this other thing, you choose this again, right? If that's the case, claim it with some finesse here, right? It's like, this is my Boulder, graffiti it, glitter it up, make it in your mind something that you enjoy engaging with, whether you're doing it mentally or you're whistling while you work or however you want to approach it. It's just, and there's so much drama in the way this is said because we've got Pluto, drama, Sagittarius, drama light, and the fifth house represented by Leo, drama. So there's pizzazz in this. It's like, look, it's like not only do you want to switch this point of view, but let's make it fun. Let's enjoy it. Let's like come to this with your most fabulous outfit on and your most, this is mine and this is my, the most Frank Sinatra, my way energy you can bring to this right now. It's like, have a boldness in claiming this because again, it all comes with a physical price tag, which requires effort and responsibility on our part. But when it's your creation that you called forward, when it's the thing that you asked for, and you come to it with that sense of spiritual maturity where you're like, I know this has a shit sandwich, but this is my shit sandwich, right? This is my flavor. This is my Boulder. And I'm going to push it up this hill with so much finesse and style and drama and flair, right? Really allow that to come out so that you just, it invigorates you. You own it, right? So if you have to push something, if you have to do the hard work, do it in style is what this reading is basically saying. All right, so now let's look at outcomes for Pluto in Sagittarius in the fifth house known as the fun house. All right, spiritual outcome at this time, the need for control of insights to understand the power of love. The power of love is what's pushing that boulder up that hill, right? The love is what helps you show up, number one. I think maybe there's a desire to overthink this here. That's kind of like the warning is like, you're going to want to think about this really hard and make it into a big deal. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. This could be something that you allow yourself to do from your heart rather than from your mind. But the mind seems to want to get involved a little bit here. It's almost like, okay, if I can come to this with enough finesse and excitement and ferocity, I can maybe make the feeling go away. It's like, no, the feeling of this is heavy doesn't go away. It's just the nature in which you push against it, the nature in which you approach the task shifts. And it's like, I still feel the real world weight and the price tag and the responsibility of this. That's still there. I still have to scoop the cat poop, right? I still have to change the diaper. I still have to, go to the doctor. I still have to do all these things that I'd rather not have to do. But now I'm doing it with a sense of like, and I would choose this again. Mental outcome at this time, an obsession with the wisdom of investments, gambles, and other games. What I'm getting is like the gamifying aspect or the changing the attitude is like, okay, I see that people get, like I said, it's like, here's some aspirin before you really feel the headache. You get that little instant relief and it's like, ooh, okay, like I want to make sure that I'm constantly preempting this pain or the frustration or the irritation by readying myself for it. And because it works. I think that what's hard is like it's hard to be ahead of it all the time. Sometimes you're just like living your life and the weight of it hits you. It can be hard to be in front of that to minimize the pain. And yet I feel like because we get a taste of how much easier it is, that there's a desire to be like, okay, next, like what else can I like get ahead of here? And life is like a big game board. Like there's dice rolling all the time in this life that we're creating for. I really feel like it's a simulation that is like a type of spiritual testing ground a little bit. And I feel like we're trying to anticipate some of the test questions. And I feel like the way that this game is designed, the spiritual game we're in, is it's adaptive. So as soon as you up level, the game up levels, right? So I get this feeling like this is trying to say, okay, I just found a cheat code and now I'm going to try and use it everywhere. And as soon as like the game the game's consciousness is aware that you know the workaround, then it gives you the next level of the test. And so there's this desire right now to sort of like, I want to get ahead of anything that could create pain. And you can try it. I mean, I can see myself behaving in this way because I'm a bit of an overachiever sometimes. And it's like, once I figure something out, I want to find out that workaround. So it's like, I'm tired of feeling stressed out by this. So if I find a thought or a pattern of approaching something that's working for me here, I can see me trying to like quickly apply it everywhere so that I can minimize the negative and optimize the positive. And while I'm all for trying it, I also feel the responsibility to be a realist with you and say, like, that's not really how the game is designed. The game is designed to challenge your growth at levels, right? So that's why it's like things seem to be going well for a while. So, or like you feel really connected to the things life has gifted you, and you feel really grateful and so much gratitude, and it works for a while, and then something shifts and it's like suddenly it's hard again. And we often, I think, at least I know I do, and I certainly know other people who do this too, is we take that in as I've done something wrong. And what I'm getting here is, no, you haven't. You've done something right. You've just up-leveled. And so every time you go up a level, we advance. And as we advance, the levels become more advanced, challenging you yet again. And so what I feel like they're trying to say here is we're trying to game around that. And I don't know if it works, but if it does, let me know. But I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like it works for a while, but then the game resets. Physical outcome at this time feels like it answers that question is a power struggle resulting from the understanding of your creations. Yeah, you're the game. You're co-creating this game. How do I explain it to you? This is the explanation that has felt the most resonant for me. So when you think of this world that we're in right now, and they talk about it like a simulation, it's a living simulation. Each one of our games is centered on us in some way and the lessons we came here to learn. Now, on the spirit side is when we do actually the learning. We're in the classrooms and we're experimenting. And when we come to Earth in the form of a being, we're here to take the test. This is not so much the learning stage we think it is, although I would definitely say there's learning here. I'm not negating that. It's just that this is really an amalgamation of everything you learned on the spiritual side. And now you get to forget you have teachers, forget you have a support structure, forget your test objective, and just come into this thing blind and see how much can you instinctively pull from, how much are you listening to your spirit. And you're allowed to get the answers, but you have to go within to get them. That's where they live. That's where you're going to find it. And you can go in quite deep and get quite a bit of information. However, who's going to guide you there? Maybe there will be people there to guide you. Maybe you'll have to figure it out on your own. Maybe you'll never recognize that. Maybe you don't even believe in any of this stuff, right? There's so many different components. But we're here taking a test. And so every time you advance in the test gets a little harder. Actually, my kids do these state testing, right? And they're testing my kids for like English language arts reading. And they test them at the level that they are at. And then every question progressively gets a little harder. And it will keep testing them at different grades. So it'll, if they're starting out in 3rd grade, they start there, then 4th and 5th and 6th, all the way up until it's clear that they can't answer the questions. But if they're answering the questions and getting them somewhat right, they're advancing the difficulty of the question all along. And the whole point isn't for them to answer all the questions, it's to see how far they can get in difficulty before they can't do it. And there's something about that resonates for me about this. And that's why I was saying we're going to try and find the cheat code. And it's like, you don't understand, every time you progress, that's great. Good job. well done applying these theories and ideas to what you're doing. But as soon as you do that, the game's like, oh, she's good. Let's take her up to the next level. Let's increase the difficulty. And again, the difficulty doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have hard times, only that the concept that worked at this other level, where maybe you were newer to your spiritual wisdom or something like that, it will become more complex the higher up you go. And I feel like that's the nature of the test, is like, it's not so much about answering all the questions, it's how long can you go, and we can increase and make it more complex. And I don't say that to scare you. I say that because the universe is trying to show you how much you have. And it does this in a way where you will have to tap in deeper and go deeper and go deeper into yourself and really find that font of wisdom that lives within us all, right? It'll drive you into that. And this is not to scare you or to make you feel like life is always going to be hard. That's not it at all. In fact, I think you can find a lot of ease, bliss, and joy in this process. But know that the game is a living game responding to you. And it's like, oh, very good, moving up to the next level. And if we approach it with the mindset of the difficulty I might experience is a sign of my advancement, not a sign of my lack. That's the mindset shift that makes this whole thing a lot more exciting. Because if you were thinking about it in real world terms, and let's say we're playing a video game together, and it's a progressive one where it progressively gets harder. Like, we'll go with the basic Mario Brothers, right? Every level up is a harder level to play. Well, as a video game player, you want that. You enjoy that. That's the thrill of it. If it was always the same easy level, you'd get bored pretty fast and be like, this is not challenging me at all. The type of challenge or difficulty I'm talking about here is not the kind that comes from a negative source, but it's the kind that stimulates growth, stimulates creativity, and stimulates you to reach for the deepest parts of yourself. And so, although at times we may feel the weight of this world, of these tests, of these choices that we make, instead of seeing it as you falling short in some way to meet the challenge, rather recognize that the challenge is rising to stimulate the greatest parts of you, your soul, your heart, and your spirit, so that you can then recognize them, experience them, and share them with others. And with that, I am sending you so much love. Mwah. Have a great week.